you talking the October 20th?
Yes. Or no, okay. Do I have a motion on the floor for approval of the agenda as presented? Motion on the floor for the approval of the
I'll make
agenda.
that motion.
I'll make a motion.
All those in favor? Borough Council met for an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel matters in consultation with the attorney regarding issues on which identifiable complaints are expected to be filed. The reading of the minutes, council has a copy of the minutes from the January 20th meeting. I need a motion on the floor to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Ayes carried. We are going to open the floor to citizens' remarks. Please keep it to the agenda items at hand, and 3 minutes each.
Hi, my name is Elsa Alt, I live at 220 South Fourth Street. I am not sure what the proper process would be for this. There's an item on the agenda for emergency management, and I don't know if I'm gonna have an opportunity before y'all make a motion or y'all do a discussion to say something. But I just wanted to mention that at the August 2025 meeting, and there's been other meetings prior to that, and I apologize, I didn't research it enough. I had a very hectic weekend and a very emotional day, so, it was discussed that there was gonna be money for emergency management coming from Constellation. I don't know what the $5,000 is gonna be discussed, what it's for. There's been a lot of discussions about the radios here, them being tested and most of them working. So I just want to make it known that there are grants and that there have been discussions of grants and this money coming for TMI. And the budget only has a $1,200 line item for emergency management. So, I don't know if I'll have an opportunity later, I just wanted to make sure that that information is out there for that agenda.
Yeah, we're gonna fill you in once the EMA coordinator speaks up, and then there will be additional information he can provide, some insight also, and funds are being pursued through the county as well.
I appreciate, I just wanted to say something to like,
Great.
and one thing. Thank you.
Anyone else? Moving on, police report, Lieutenant Dave.
Thank you. Evening, council. I see the report, so it was provided to you, it's probably a little later.
It was a little late.
Preferred. I wasn't here last month, I believe Sergeant Taylor was, excuse me. We recently changed records management software, so it's been challenging. But at least you got the so looking at, January, 2 traffic crashes, 1 traffic citation, 6 traffic warnings, total of 38 incidents in the borough, 1 domestic related incident, and 28 calls that fall into an all-other non-criminal category. As you know, we were down, had the opportunity to speak to some residents, and we were down doing some traffic enforcement in January that was fruitful. We identified some violators and corrected that behavior, at least hopefully. So I'm happy to answer any questions the council has, or the residents, any concerns we can address, be happy to do so.
Really just the one I brought up, there on Fraser and York, so somebody speeding
Okay,
during bus hours.
is that we addressed with Sergeant Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just to make council aware as well, my intent, I am, of course, you probably know, I'm in acting chief's position, it's temporary, but while I'm in that position, I would like that some of the patrol sergeants make their way to the meetings, because ultimately, they are the ones that the information from me gets to, and they are instructing their officers, so, you'll probably see some other faces in here, and that's simply because I would like you to have the opportunity to address those supervisors that are truly making the difference and giving the correct to the officers. So that's the idea there. and they're appreciative as well, of being able to come and meet. So, anything else from council?
Thanks for the traffic enforcement, I think it is making a difference.
Yes, sir.
Just having the present in town, people, they don't seem to be, or there seems to be less speeding, at least on South Warwick, by the pizza shop.
Okay, appreciate that feedback, thank you. Any, concerns from residents? Yeah, Joe? Okay, if there's nothing else for me, Mr. President, now be excused.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Thank you,
Have a
sir.
good evening.
Thank you.
Moving on to the fire department report, total calls for the month, we had, 22 calls, total calls for the year 68. We had, one call in the 23, one in the 26, one in the 27, and 15 calls in the 31 box, one in the 68. All the apparatus had the 360 camera system up with DVR capability, so they are recording. Just had radios upgraded, just did a purchase of 2 new radios for the fire department to upgrade the radios that are currently outdated. And that's pretty much it. We have training coming up and we have bingo in 2 weeks. That's all I have for the fire department. Make a motion to accept both reports.
Motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the mayor's report.
Yeah, so I just had, one of these items here, it's one on Big Sky. The guy has, I guess, a dumpster there. Not sure if that's like a permanent thing or not, but he talked to his son. They actually said they're removing that, within a month, so I figured that was good. South York Street, they had a complaint about snow removal in the trash in the yard. Ron, I think, removed the snow there for.
Joe.
That was Joe?
Yeah, Joe.
Nice, thank you. And then, I actually showed up today to get the trash and there was a U-Haul taking it, so that's all cleaned up. And then the North Fraser intersection, we had a complaint about speeding during the school bus hours, so. Talked to, Lieutenant Diddy, he left, about that, and they said, no, put a man down there.
Motion to accept the mayor's report.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Council has a copy of the ELH and P report along with the board report. Motion to accept the ELH and P report.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion to accept the water company report.
Second.
All those in favor? Engineers report. Do you have anything on that for us? Make a motion to accept the engineers report.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nice, carry. Solicitors report.
Nothing to stand on, I can speak on some matters later.
Okay. Motion to accept the solicitors report.
Motion.
Second.
At this time, I'm requesting an amendment to the agenda, posted agenda, to appoint to the following committees, anyone willing or wanting to volunteer their time to any one of the committees listed under the committee report. I have a motion on the floor.
Make no sewer authority.
No, I'm making the motion to amend the agenda.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Nice, carried. All right, for building and grounds, any nominations or anybody would like to be appointed to the building and grounds?
I'll be with building and grounds.
All right. Motion on the floor to accept Ron as, building and grounds vacancy.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Uh,
Alright. We're gonna get back to EMA. Anybody, well, we'll go to EMA. Anybody willing or wanting to serve on EMA, emergency management? This also is for the public too.
Just, yep.
Alright, moving on, finance. Anyone willing or would like to assist in finance? No. Planning. Anybody want or willing?
I'll go with planning.
Alright. Motion on the floor to have Ron Combs fill vacancy of planning. Second. All those in favor? Recreation.
I'll do recreation.
I'll go along with it.
Alright.
We got quite a few people that signed up for that too.
I have a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is this separate from, I thought
It should be planning and recreation.
Yeah.
wasn't there one that was just gonna be made up of residents?
I mean, we discussed that having a council member on would be beneficial.
Right.
And I have like a list of people that already have emails.
Oh, you have people?
I have, yeah.
All right, now I'm good with Sam.
Okay. Motion on the floor to to have Sam appointed to the recreation.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Sanitation and sewer.
So my question is, this is where we do the committee reports?
Correct.
And
Point
this is
contacts.
normally broken up by,
Who's appointed to the committees? Like, previous council member Rob Rice appointed to planning.
and we have a municipal authority for like our sanitation and sewer.
Apparently we do.
Okay, I was just.
It's a liaison.
They're appointed for 5-year terms.
Yeah.
So, I think, Will, your question is, are you making a motion to appoint somebody to the vacancy on the authority?
Okay, that is the clarification.
Okay.
That's what I need, thanks.
Is that what you're?
Yes.
So
Bill Clark,
where we at?
appointing Bill Clark to sanitation and sewer.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Appoint street and highways.
Me.
Ron Combs. Anyone else? Motion on the floor to accept Ron appointed to the street and highways.
Motion.
I hear a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone interested in electric utility and water company?
I'll go along with that too.
Don't go on it.
You gonna be able to handle all this stuff, Ron?
Yeah, and I actually kind of have a report on electric and water.
Okay.
Can I just do that?
Yeah,
I had a
sure.
busy week last week. Amp came down and discussed electricity with me, to touch base, with our community since they are our providers of our electricity. And I know I've heard from a lot of residents about the concerns, of course, of the high electric bills because of the peak time rate. They introduced me to 2 programs. The one was brought up at a prior meeting. I believe it was with the smart thermostat. I don't know who brought it up. Does anybody know?
We shied away from it.
Yeah.
But it's actually, Alex from AMP went into depth with me about it. And what it can do for the community, if you're participating in this program, is during peak times, it will shave the cost and save the borough money across the board. I have a PowerPoint on it, so if I could send it to all the council members to see if that's something you're interested in. The other thing that I went over with, the gentleman from AMP was, and this is a pressing question, I've seen it on Facebook, solar energy. Can we get solar energy in our borough? It is a doable thing, it's a program, there has to be an ordinance passed, et cetera, et cetera. So if we're interested in looking into that, that's something else that we can look into, adopting as an ordinance. Lewisberry has solar, power, like they're participating in the program.
Are you referring to net metering ordinances where it's generation customer side and whether or not it's sold back?
Or ordinance.
Yes,
put them all out.
yes, they have a whole program and it's an in-depth thing, but it is a possibility in the borough. And I know that's a question that a lot of residents have, like, can we get solar panels on our house?
Right.
But we have to adopt it as a borough to be participating in the program.
I know
We would get the rebates.
well,
Would get
we
the
don't,
rebates?
No, we don't
No, I
participate
knew
in
that,
Yeah, we don't.
but I didn't know this was
That's
a
what
whole new program, yeah.
She's talking about enrolling in the program
program where you net
In a rebate program.
I know this came up once before with a resident in the borough that wanted to have solar panels put on their home, but couldn't because of, I think it was.
You could, but it doesn't make much financial sense unless.
Correct, there was something that came back to that.
I was told that our electric system is not set up to take the energy back. we
That
have
was
to-
the other
that
thing
we
too,
would have
because
to
we're
have
buying it
batteries.
outside.
We would have to store batteries out on our
Yeah,
property.
this is it's a doable thing. It's just a big commitment on the borough side. You have to decide to get into the program. And, there's customer information that I can actually put in, the electric bill the next time.
I'm not opposed to it, the only concern I have is historically with some of the homes in this town, will the structure of that home support the weight of the panels?
Well, and this is all the homeowner's consideration. The homeowner is gonna have to go through those pros and cons themselves. How am I gonna maintain my roof? What happens when I need a new roof and I have to remove the solar panels to put the new roof on? That's the resident's, homeowner's decision about their home. So there's a lot of things to think about, but I just wanted everybody to know it is possible, it's not impossible to participate in this program.
I'm happy, our office has prepared net metering ordinances like this for other municipalities, I'm happy to look into that. You have to also keep in mind though that you are borough electric, so any kind of net metering program wants to be very cognizant of those protections and making sure you're still reserved for them.
But I just wanted to bring that forth, my conversation with AMP.
We probably still actually have our paperwork for the smart meter thing. We did already.
I don't know, was it through AMP, was it through the AMP program?
I think it was.
Like, they'll give you a rebate, to get the thermostat, and just to reiterate that, I know there's like concerns about your privacy in your home and this smart meter. And what it will do at peak times, it will turn this thermostat down, but you can opt out of it. So if you have a big function going on in your house in the summer, and it's gonna be 98 degrees, you just opt out that your thermostat's not gonna go down, and you override it. So you can have that tool. So, that's another thing the borough can participate in if it so chooses.
But a lot of the thermostats now already do that.
Yeah.
Right, but we have to opt into the program through AMP. But-
Like the thermostats, a lot of them do that already. Like I have a Nest and it has a little green leaf. It says you're like saving money and stuff.
Yeah, mine
Yeah.
is too.
Yeah.
Joyce, I think one of the comments that came up before was, a lot of those programs or rebates require a certain number of residents to join the program, to do the thermostat, and we wanted to look at what that fine print was. So I don't know if the PowerPoint you have, if that contains some of that
Yeah, I mean,
information.
I'm gonna
What's the
share it with the
contractual-
council and
right,
then
what's
they
the-
can
yeah, What's
decide.
the contractual part of the town's responsibility to be in that program?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just another, item is with our utilities. Matt is gonna be looking into some, messaging systems, is that what I wanna say, like text messaging systems, so if there's, a power outage, the electric goes out, or if we're working on the water and there's low water pressure, if you opt into the text message, you'll get an immediate notification, hey, your water's pressure's gonna be low between 3 and 6 tonight, because we're working on it, or, the electric's out, we're working on it. So,
Is that all it's in for?
but, I think it's a good idea, because then the residents won't have to pick up the phone and call, or they'll know what they're doing.
Come back to the committee, yeah, I'll still go on that to help out with the electric utility.
I can help too.
Peter, too.
I'd like to ask a question about the electric utilities. And I just need to understand more how this works, because things are changing very drastically. We had, a short power outage, that ended up being on feed coming from that end. What happens when the electric goes out?
Oh, who was addressing it?
Yeah.
So, we've Doug, Ron, and I, we discussed that because I had sort of an anxiety attack for 20 minutes when the electric.
Well, it's pretty cold out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's concerned, you know, the electric's out, if we have electric, we're gonna be cold. So, the first thing is to determine where it's out. Doug said he has resources, he calls the county. If it's a med ed situation, there's nothing we can do about it. Other than that, if it's in borough, Ron and Doug, and even I will go out and try to determine the source, but Mike Dobbs is gonna be called immediately, who is our borough electrician, to address the in-town outage. So, there's someone that's gonna be working on it, whether it's out of town, like we're gonna know where it's happening.
Right, because fuses pop here and there, and I just didn't know if anybody could recognize that or not. The other thing I was wondering is, do we have, so we called Doug to come look at this stuff. I have no idea how he is response time wise.
Probably about the same as,
He was ready, when we had that short outage, he was ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, do we have a service agreement or anything in place with Gettle to get here in an appropriate amount of time or level of support? If we
I
have
don't
a
believe so,
issue?
I'll have to look into that.
Okay. Maybe as a recommendation, do we have some type of service agreement in place?
Okay.
and the only ones probably authorized and elevated to that level would be Doug's for choice.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's gonna have to be a process though.
What was the name of that company you said?
Gettle.
That's who's, yeah.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Gettle.
Gettle?
We do primarily a contract, well, Dubs, if Dubs Electrical can't do the work, he'll get in touch with Joyce, the borough manager, and then we'll get Gettle in to actually do the majority of the work.
They kinda do the heavy lifting.
Yeah. As far as that power outage goes, I was actually out that night, and power went out. As soon as it went out, I was up driving down Clyde. There's a switch point at Whistler with a light indicator that will tell you whether or not the power is tripped. Coming into the borough, and Med-Ed can reroute the power down off of Whistler or off of Clyde. So there's two routes that the power will come in off the borough. And that's just, they can do a remote switch too. But, anything inside the borough, I've already been on a squirrel that's taken out a fuse on a pole.
That is what they did a remote switch when the power went out, that's why it was only out a short amount of time, they were able to switch it.
And that was because of a car accident down on North George Street,
Yeah, Manchester.
down in Manchester. All right.
I'm gonna make a comment about solar panels, just to add, something that needs to be thought about, is that when a resident puts a solar panel on the roof, and let's say they get it from one of those companies that owns the panels and then does the buyback, whatever that arrangement is, both the resident as well as the borough needs to be keenly aware about when the lifespan of the end of life of the solar panels come up, who is responsible for the disposal of the solar panel? Is it the company that installed the solar panel, or is it gonna be the resident, or does that fall under the borough co-op? That needs to be spelled out in any kind of
I don't think
ordinance.
that would be.
Unless you're leasing it.
Those details about how to administer the customer generation and, what responsibilities are for disposal, as you're highlighting, all of those are typically set out in a net metering ordinance, if you were to
Okay.
pursue that.
Are you gonna buy back the electric?
There are certain requirements on generation of electricity that have to be met from state laws, which is why we tend to take our time with drafting those net metering ordinances, make sure, like the Alternative Energy Portfolio Standards Act, I think is one of them. So, yes, the buyback is also within those net metering ordinances.
And the borough's gonna administer that? And put the second meter on the house?
That would be the property owner's responsibility.
Again, that's all spelled out in the ordinances, but I think the first primary consideration, like I highlighted at the beginning, is not wanting to jeopardize the borough's status as a municipal electric, because you have to be careful about buying and selling power and being confined to your own geographic limits.
Because the previous council voted against net metering, that was, I think, 2017, 2018, when we voted against that.
It was something to that, mainly because it was the buyback, it created a lot more, just office work, where you're gonna have to, account for all this, the power you buy back and everything else.
Yeah, I personally, with the buyback and all the extra accounting that goes with it, I have mixed feelings about doing solar.
We didn't care so much about, we were worried about that, we didn't care if people had panels on the roof, we just didn't want to get involved with buying it.
Say they have like a satellite system where, they have battery management, they could feed the whatever solar panels won't use, or, whatever electric they use for the solar, is what they get paid for. The bill might not be $300, it might be $50 for the carriage, those the electric. I know that there's different ways of setting that up.
Yep.
That's something we have to look into.
Yeah, I would say look into it, because I feel like there's tax.
Well, and that's
issues
what's
that
attractive to a lot of residents. is
The
the
residents
tax.
would gain from that, and I think happy residents, happy life, I don't know. But yeah, I think
I
looking
mean,
into
it's
that would be
worth,
great.
it's worth looking into, it was brought up, it might have attention, so.
All right, moving on to zoning. Anybody interested in serving on the zoning board? Motion on the floor to accept Peter Carley and Ron Combs to the electric utility and water company.
I'll make that motion.
There.
All those in favor? Zoning. Anyone, interested in serving on zoning?
Yeah, I can help with zoning.
Motion on the floor to accept Peter to the zoning committee. Second. All those in favor? All right, we're gonna loop back around, emergency management, Mr. Jim P.
I did meet with representatives from York County OEM the 28th of last month. We discussed the status of the Crane Clean Energy Plant. Tentative date is still the 2027 startup. I do have a draft of the 2026 emergency response plan in the office. They did go through the office and we purged a ton of stuff. Like, there was stuff in there from early 2000s, which isn't relevant anymore. So that's all been cleaned out. They are making a few changes. I don't have the exact information yet, but there is changes coming to evacuation procedures, location for evacuation and stuff like that. I did send an email out to all the council about an hour ago. There's a seminar on the 21st of this month from 9 to 11. They recommended any new council member or borough manager attend this. It basically goes over what EMA does and your responsibility and your part of actually with EMA. Free class, like it says 9 to 11 on the 21st. There's a link in the email to sign up for it. We do have an EMA webpage now, or Facebook page now. Anything, I started it right before the snowstorm. So anything, any updates from EOC, weather-related, travel advisories, emergencies like that are posted on there. One question I did have, on the borough webpage, on the very bottom, there's a spot for emergency preparedness survey. Who has access to that, and how do I get to that information so I can find out who needs help with stuff?
Only one person signed up for it.
Okay.
Um,
My question is, does the resident know about it? Is it at the very bottom of the page?
It was mentioned back, when I put it on there a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Or a year ago, just about, really no one signed up for it. Since then, I think I changed one of the links to promote the public safety kind of thing that Newberry is running.
Yep, that's fine, but the only problem with the Newberry's Community Connect thing, we don't have access to that at all. That's directly to Newberry Fire Company, and they're the only ones that can access it.
Dave, when he told us about it, he had said that you guys are gonna have access to it
That's what we were told too,
originally.
Oh, I know.
No, we don't.
So, yeah, that's.
but,
And
and honestly.
from my understanding, they were discontinuing
Yeah.
that snap-in portion of it.
Okay, well,
For the township.
we should relook at,
Yeah, I mean, something, that way, if, God forbid, there's an emergency within the borough, I know the person that lives at 30 South York Street is a handicapped person, they may need assistance with a handicap van to be evacuated.
yeah, we had, put that up there when one person signed up, but, yeah, well, once we refresh it.
That's all I like I said, I did meet with Shen and Mike from the OEM. They were pleased that with the status of the office and stuff like that. They gave me some pointers and stuff like that, and it'll be fun.
Are they still asking you for a list of wants?
We did discuss that, and she did tell me about, there is some grant opportunities, but she said, when you look at how many municipalities are within York County, if not,
I thought it was related to the 3 Mile Island starting back up, is that Constellation was looking for one list.
yeah, they didn't really say much about
Okay.
a want list type thing. She like said, she just said that they do have some grants, and if it's something big where they can't fund it, then we can go to TMI and say, hey, we need some more money.
Microsoft also has grant programs too, but they're maxed out, I think, at 500 for grants, which, if you wanted to touch on the Chromebooks, just to give everybody an insight.
They're outdated, they don't hold the charge, so basically they're gonna either need to be sent out, refurbished, or purchase new ones.
That's why I was asking about the one list, that might be a good one for it.
You've gotta replace things like that. Nowadays, technology goes out in like 5 years.
Well, it goes a lot further than that. Think of also too, if there's an actual incident, and if there was a shelter in place, or this was opened up, all the cots that were down here are no longer here and can't be located, so, I mean, there's even that kind of stuff you have to look at too. You know, I'm not saying we'll ever get to that point, I hope we don't, but if that chance does arise, what are you gonna do?
Whatever happened with the radios and what the county was changing radios and everything else?
As far as I know, our radios are fine. I'm actually using one right now because my fire department radio died. I have no problem with the radios. The base station we have there is the exact same radio we have in the fire department. I'm picking up, I'm transmitting on all of them, so. The only question I have is, if we ever found that third portable?
It's up in the office, I believe.
Is there a portable radio?
Is that portable that used to sit up there on the filing cabinet?
Should be a black radio.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was a gray one that was sitting up there.
So you got the big base station to fire up then? Was something wrong with that box?
The base station works in the other one for that old Kenwood radio, which I don't even know what that one's for. That's like low band, which no one's gonna be able to use anyhow. But that radio probably gonna be decommissioned and removed from that office. Cause everything now is 700-800.
So there's no need to get on whatever the new emergency stuff is that the county's doing, this is all fine for that.
No.
Yeah,
Cumberland County, no.
well,
No.
I don't have Cumberland County either, but I've got everything else.
You don't need it. York County's doing an upgrade in, programming for Cumberland, to add Cumberland County frequencies to York County radios for any of the departments that go into Cumberland County. Unfortunately, their programming is skewed, and there's issues with it, so. But I think with the radios that are set and what he's got going right now, is good. Elsa, go ahead. So I hope that helps out, and we can dive further into it, but like, how many Chromebooks are in there? 7 or 8? 6? And all of them do not hold a charge unless they're permanently plugged in. So unless there's a substantial influx of money, and even with $5,000, I mean, and to give you an idea, I ordered 2 radios for the fire department $14,000. And that's coming out of fireman's relief account. But, and I got paperwork, if anybody wants to see it. But, I mean, that just gives you a bigger picture of the cost of things nowadays.
And so the MacBooks are just because they're left in here plugged up to use when the emergency happens, is that what we?
Correct. The whole idea is the MacBooks are to be utilized by the staff that mans the EOC, Emergency Operations Center, and that would be a logistics person, transportation, PIO, medical, all that kind of stuff.
I just think that the reason that the batteries aren't working is probably due to lack of use or cycling, taking them off charge or whatever it is. I'm just saying, they're not used very often, maybe an EOC might have used once a year.
I have.
So looking to see if it's cheaper to maybe replace the batteries or refurbish them if possible. If not, we might have to just replace the books
Replace the whole
altogether.
thing, but I'm saying like maybe there needs, that EMA, Jim can, Frank, Jim, is that your name, I'm sorry, Jim can, you know, every 6 months or so, that they have to come off charge and.
Right.
Yeah,
die down,
absolutely.
Die
Yeah,
down and then
yeah.
get plugged back in. It's
But
just-
don't get me wrong, and I didn't interrupt you, I apologize. Don't get me wrong, just because we're looking to allocate the $5,000 to help with some of the needs that would arise or purchase for the EOC does not prevent the pursuit of grants, absolutely. And I got a whole grant booklet, earlier, in January, and we're gonna pursue additional grants on top of that.
Just so you know, the Chromebooks that were purchased, I went through CDW for them.
Okay.
And they do have the borough EIN.
Okay.
If you ever need to use them again,
Okay.
and they do a really good price on them.
All right.
Is that like a buy off state contract, basically?
Yeah.
Mr. President,
Yes.
is it too late for me to volunteer to help Jim with the emergency management?
Yeah.
It's not too late?
Well,
I would like to do that.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, moving on to unfinished business. The utility pole at Valley Road, Pines Road, to provide a light.
With the snow coming on and everything, I did not get a chance to get the Doug's to get a quote from Gallo on any of that stuff.
That's fine. Do we have an easement agreement with Mr. Fisher?
I don't believe so.
Because that pole is actually further in than the easement authorizes.
What is the distance off center?
What is it, 12 feet? No. I looked it up.
I thought it was, is it 12 or
12 or 20, one of the two.
Middle of the road.
It's 20 from the center.
20 from the center of the line. And that pole, I believe, is beyond that 20-foot line.
Yeah, with the discussion of putting another pole at Pines and Valley there, I was looking at having that in the right of way of easement of the road. I wasn't looking at putting that back off on Fisher's property.
Yeah, but now you're getting into crossing over the utility line that's there too, if that's the case.
Not,
Or is it gonna run parallel all the way up to it?
yeah, it would be parallel to that communications.
My only concern with that is that's a state road, state responsibility. Are we, and then you get into the maintenance of the pole, maintenance of the line.
We don't have to do with it, I just brought it up.
Yeah. Well,
But in any case, I didn't get out there and look at any of that stuff, there was snow, came up with any poles, you know.
all right, Goldsboro Borough Personnel Handbook.
Yes, I prepared the revised draft discussing, or implementing the changes that I had mentioned the last meeting and circulated it, and then upon circulating it, had received some feedback from office personnel. And I've been in communication with Joyce about them summarizing their feedback, getting it back to me, and incorporating it into the handbook. So, there is progress on there, but I would not vote to approve it.
So we'll get a new version of that to review once you work your way through it.
yes, I'll follow up with Joyce after the meeting to make sure that, that feedback is outlined in the email that I can then incorporate into the draft and then send it out. And I think, it was good that they would send it out in advance of the meeting so that you all were able to review.
Yeah, 'cause we have directions and something.
Yep, anybody that has any feedback, I would welcome you to send it to me so that I can do that all at once and hopefully not delay this any further.
Motion to discontinue any further involvement with utility pole placement on West Broadway and Valley Road. There's a motion on the floor.
Is that the one that I was talking about, so like?
I think you skipped a
I'll
little bit.
make the motion.
There's
Sewer authority vacancies, that was done under committee report, and, make a motion to amend the agenda to strike sewer authority vacancies from the, agenda.
I don't think you necessarily, it's under a discussion item.
Yeah.
And I do believe that there were 2 vacancies and not 1.
Yeah, that's the municipal authority, right?
Correct.
Correct. Now, all right, sewer authority, municipal authority.
Hold on, sorry, I just got confused.
No, yeah, so did I.
Will, your clarification, was that meant to mean that you don't think there was a vacancy filled on sewer authority?
Right, we had talked under committee reports about getting liaisons put in place from the different committees back to the council. But I thought on municipal authority, Matt, you had that up, you're president of that.
Yeah.
And you currently, for that municipal authority, have
Two
two vacancies
Right.
that need people appointed to them if we have people that are interested.
Correct.
Wasn't I appointed to one?
Yeah, we did.
As a liaison.
Oh.
So you're not, that's the clarification. I
Yeah.
thought that it was supposed to formally appoint to the authority board, or that's not the intention?
The intention is for liaison position to assist and aid, also to bring information back to council if needed. And to make communication a little bit easier, instead of, going to this person or going to this person. Focus and go to this individual.
So there are still 2 formal vacancies?
Correct. Yes.
What kind of time commitment, is
Our meetings usually last about a half hour to an hour, once every quarter, or no, once every other month.
I'll volunteer.
Is there an application you gotta put in?
No.
So with me being appointed to the sanitation and sewer, I wouldn't have a vote on anything, I'm just
Unless you wanna flip that and change that and fill the other vacancy.
I'd like to fill the other vacancy.
Yeah.
That will-
I misunderstood.
Then that's fine.
Now, did you have any other people that were asking or interested in volunteering to be on the municipal authority?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So, either.
There
There's a motion.
Do you know what because those are staggered terms, do you know what the terms are remaining for those 2 positions? Because haven't they been?
One has, roughly a few months, one has to the end of the 2026, and then the other one's a full term.
So 5 years?
5 years. A year and a 5-year.
Take a year.
Year.
5. All right. Yeah, I'd like to do those individually.
Okay, motion to, appoint, Peter Curley to the sewer, authority vacancy
For the 1-year term.
for the 1-year term.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Any nay? Alright. Motion on the floor to appoint William Clark to the 5-year position.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nay? Guys have it. Alright. Okay, moving on now. Necessary action, motion to discontinue any further involvement in the utility pole placement on West Broadway and Valley Road.
Do you need a motion to kill that, Aiden, or is it, we can just decide that it's dead?
You can structure it in a way to remove it from appearing on further agendas, because I think you had all previously tabled it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm doing it through the formal process of motion. Motion on the floor.
I make the motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those against? The ayes have it. business, discussion, clarification of bills, presented documents required, to all of council.
Skipped over the one, I know we already talked about it, but, the handbook, I would suggest that be tabled.
At this point in time, motion on the floor to table Goldsboro Borough Personnel Handbook.
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor? Moving on again. Clarification.
I have a question, if you would. Item 19, did you guys ever take the vote to accept committee reports?
I don't think I did.
No,
You did.
All right, motion to accept the committee reports under committee report.
Second.
All those in favor? Discussion, clarification bills, presented documents required. I think, moving forward, clear, concise bills presented to council for review. Matt Canzanera is now our official recording secretary. Okay, so last month, method of payment for electric bill. Was there anything discussed in December regarding payment for the meter readers
Not that my knowledge,
and their deferment of their payments to the electric bills?
no.
Okay. All right. Well, that's asked. So,
Yeah,
no deferments of their payments to go to the electric bills. And the reason for that is a payment that's being made to them. They're under W-2. And with those payments, they can write a check out back to the borough. It just makes it easier, and I think we had discussed that.
And they're not
before.
W-2, they're paying.
Well, it's on 99. It makes it easier, it makes it clear, check written to them, they can pay their bills via check themselves. All right, discussion about making First Avenue one-way from Pennsylvania Avenue south to East Broadway. Mr. Clark.
Okay. I made up a map on what we were thinking about doing, okay? This is Broadway, this is PA Avenue, this is First Avenue. Okay, what we're talking about doing is making First Avenue from PA Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue, out to Broadway one way. Okay, the reason for that is the concerns about the firehouses here. We have trucks, apparatus, whatever, coming out of the firehouse, and they come this way. If there's a vehicle coming this way, they've got to stop, the truck's got to stop, and they've got to back out. The vehicle, like a car or a pickup, they've got to back out on the Broadway, on the blind side, which creates a hazard where there might create an accident. Okay, so that's the reason why we'd like to make First Avenue one way this way. There'll be a stop sign here for PA Avenue, okay? And there's a shed right here on the corner. There will be a stop sign here. And on that stop sign, it's gonna say you cannot, no right-hand turn on the PA Avenue. They gotta come straight down through. Because of the shed, it's a blind spot. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're looking to do in March. And plus that'll give us time to go to the homeowners. The mayor will go to the homeowners, explain what we want to do, and get their input and how they feel.
They're in support.
They are?
Oh, yeah.
You did that?
Yeah, because
Oh, great.
when two people go down that road,
You can't.
people typically go up into their yard,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
their flower or their rock or
'Cause that-
something, but she was mad, so she really.
Is it
If
just
you
one
look
property
at that
owner or
street,
two?
it's
Is it
not
one
grass.
property owner or two?
There's two.
So the one in the back, I actually
Oh, is it?
There's three, and I'm gonna chime in real quick. On East Broadway, there's double homes, they share the same driveway. And then there's another home right beside with a separate driveway. They're side by side. So there's actually three homes, one shares a double driveway.
actually, they're both split homes.
Well, they're
Both
split,
sides.
yeah, they're split homes, but they share the same driveway. So it's split homes with one driveway.
And they were all good, Chris?
Yeah, so the one,
Here's
I guess
the-
from Broadway.
Here's where these homes would be.
The lady from Broadway answered, and the one by, I guess by the station, I couldn't get a hold of them, just basically every time I went, nobody's home.
Right.
But the ones on Broadway, she said,
Here's
well,
the
everybody's gonna be
little
happy.
store, so you're talking about these homes right here,
Yes,
and not this one you couldn't get.
right, so, yeah, they were more than happy, they said everybody's gonna be happy with this thing, just because they're tired of people digging up their yards.
Yes.
Two people passing, you gotta go up into a yard. So, a lot of the times they're going to their yards rather than,
And it's really only here for variance and for.
yeah, I mean, it
Yes.
looks like it's made for
First
It's
Avenue.
it's a one-lane road, actually.
Yeah.
First Avenue is literally just that, an alley.
Yeah.
It's 12 foot, which does not accommodate a second vehicle passing in that road. The plans would be, as, Councilmember Clark states, to make that one way. It alleviates a lot of confusion, it alleviates any traffic trying to pass each other, people going on other people's property, that kind of stuff.
My main concern, like I said, is these people having to back out on the Broadway in the flow of traffic. Now, in the summertime, in the wintertime, the traffic's not that bad. In the summertime, you got boats coming out here, out of, say, Christmas, coming this way. And they're backing out, you got a big truck coming at you, you kinda panic. You know, you're not paying attention, you could create an accident at this intersection. That's, okay. Any comments?
Yeah, I would need you to, so if I drive from the center, then if I come down Pennsylvania, I'm forced to make a right turn, I can't make a left to come to the fireman's club or in front of the
No,
firehouse?
you can.
You can make a left.
You can make a left there,
Pennsylvania, okay.
correct.
Right, so
Only
the
gonna
only
be
piece
one
that's gonna
way,
be
that
one
one
way is
problem.
just that one.
From
Just
PA,
that one.
no problem.
Is that gonna cause the, fire department any issues if somebody's trying to make them that, because they got stop sign there, so
There's
they'll see your lights or whatever.
This
And
here-
can somebody making a left off Pennsylvania see around that shed if there's somebody?
That's what I said, put up a sign, no right turn, they've got to go.
Oh, they gotta stop, right? you
Yeah,
gotta stop.
there's a stop sign here, a stop sign there, no right turn, because this is a blind spot, there's a shed right here.
For what it's worth, the corner of Marriott store about this summer, I was riding my bike right there where that little red arrow is. I was on my bike, a car coming from the river made a hard right turn and almost nailed me. They couldn't see.
I was gonna hit walking.
Right.
I was gonna hit walking there.
That will
Same thing,
alleviate
same
that
reason.
problem.
Right.
Yep.
Well, there's some other things that are moving forward within the week, some changes coming, to First Avenue. That I can share. Basically, I'll just share it because the paperwork's already started. The fire department has actually bought Harry Greaser's property.
Cool.
So the plans are to, relocate, well, eventually to widen the road to assist with cars. And, you know, down the road, other improvements too, but, to make good use of the property, so, but that I can share.
I'm not trying to rain on the parade,
Yeah.
but the March adoption timeline would probably be a bit eager, depending on what's, depending on what's proposed, whatever traffic control devices are proposed, you'll have to do traffic studies and potentially meet certain warrants for stop signs, with those studies, so there'll have to be that process, and then we'll, have to have the advertisement of the ordinance. So just an FYI, the process that would follow, it's not saying we can't do it, but it would probably take longer than a month to do.
With that being a borough street.
Yeah. Yes, you have to
Do we
do,
still have to do the traffic, spend the money for the traffic study?
under the vehicle code, yes.
You have to do it twice for widening the road too.
Correct.
So,
Same guidelines followed?
Yeah, I can-
State
I-
or local road?
No,
That's what it was.
no, you have a little bit more discretion with your borough roads, but there still has to be the process.
Yes.
what do you mean by traffic study? Someone
How many vehicles
sitting
are out
there, how many vehicles are going,
Yeah.
who's gonna do that?
Probably already. We're gonna have to engage.
Assuming-
We'll bring this here.
I
I can't hear you.
You live right there, you can count.
Yeah.
It's a traffic
Would-
engineer, so.
Yeah, would we be able, where do you get those counters where you run the rubber hose or whatever you wanna call it? Can you rent them? How much is that gonna cost?
That's all.
That all falls under the engineer.
Not sure what you guys have done in the past.
It's okay.
There are services you can certainly, I
So
can
you're
summarize
saying
here.
how much is this gonna
Especially-
cost?
Yeah, that's summarize that.
No, that's part of having the discussions.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's just that, is you present it,
Well,
everything
then-
seems supported,
Right,
and
right.
I mean, we just, that's why you.
I mean, I don't want it to cost the borough a lot of money to do this.
There's
You know,
a-
is
The
it-
cost of doing business, and that's part of it.
I think that there's a way to do it in a cost-effective manner, I'm just outlining the process that you.
Yeah, rain on my parade.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Phil, it's no different than we're
I'm
asking for a
kidding.
power pole at the corner, I mean, I'm just saying, it's just the cost of doing business, so. you don't have to-
Alright, reallocating 5,000 from general account to EMA.
I have a question on that. Does the EMA have their own account?
I don't believe they do.
They do not. All those expenditures come directly out of the general fund. So I understand if you want to earmark that maybe in the budget.
In the budget, and if I'm correct, that's a very,
All that
This gets
comes
back
out of the
into-
general fund.
but yeah, but that comes back into the line item. Mark,
Yeah,
the line item, yeah.
And that's, so I mean, if you're gonna spend money there to do that, it's gonna come, we don't move $5,000. We just, if you wanna earmark it for that.
Earmark it or
whatever,
authorize
however.
the use of 5,000.
Because he'll come to he'll come to council for his expenditures.
And that's just a one-time thing, correct?
So
One-time
where in
thing.
the budget are you gonna take the 5,000 though, and is that?
Well, I
something
can
to
spill
happen
the,
to change the budget?
yeah, well, I can spill the beans, if I could.
We found a couple.
I'm looking at you. We found a couple of spots. Obviously, you already know that, the secretarial position, was vacated. That alone, roughly, I think, was 20.
What, grand?
Yeah.
No, not even close to that.
I did the math on the hourly wage in the day's work.
Oh.
Roughly, it was $20,000, and that's a small portion of the 5,000.
And it's
So
just
I
a
make a
one-time thing.
recommendation, next year when we do our budget, we just make sure to pick this up and change
Absolutely.
that dollar amount.
Yes.
Well, like Will, to bring up, like, we don't have a tax collector or administrative assistant anymore, so we have 1,500 allocated for that.
Yeah, no, my concern was only that EMA doesn't have their own set of accounts.
Right.
It all comes out of the general.
Any of the purchases made by EMA would go through council. Along with grants, just so we know what's going on, what's being kept in the loop, and what the borough is going to be responsible.
Yeah, it's all gonna end up on our treasury report
Correct.
as a check and invoice.
Yes.
So,
Go ahead, Elsie. You good?
yeah,
Alright.
no, but I don't know how to say it,
That's okay.
I'll find a way.
All right, so, with that being said, looking to authorize the preparation of traffic study and required advertisements for traffic control devices needed on First Avenue from Pennsylvania Avenue south to East Broadway.
I'd like to make that motion that we engage the engineer to do that study.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Motion to approve, the use of $5,000 from the general account, with council's knowledge and permission for any future purchases for EMA.
Aiden, do we need a motion for that, or are we actually amending our budget for the $5,000?
Well, so I believe the section that you're going under, feels like there's a blending of concepts here on what you're trying to budget for the next year versus what you're trying to make sure is authorized this year, which is what.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with spending from my standpoint, I don't have an issue with spending $5,000. It's it's just gonna come out of the general.
General account.
There's a section of the borough code that I think is the applicable one here. It says, council in its reasonable discretion may in any year by motion modify the budget after its final adoption. New appropriations, supplementary appropriations, and transfers of one appropriation to another may be made during the fiscal year, either before or after the expenditure is authorized or ratified after the expenditure is made, if it's within the current year's revenues or the money is promptly made available through borrowing. So you have discretion for how you're going to appropriate the money or direct it. So I think this is just formally saying this $5,000 is going to be used for anything.
With council's knowledge.
Yeah, it's gonna be an
Approval of the
invoice,
purchase.
it's gonna be an invoice. and
Correct.
check,
Absolutely.
Just like everything.
Yes.
Motion on the floor.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the treasurer's report, council has a copy. I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Did we need a roll call?
No, I'm getting there. It's good.
Give me a moment here.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Okay, down here under all around, I see the first all around says $150
That's for a non-resident.
and $125 for a resident.
Correct.
Okay, just wondered.
Nope.
Wondered if you've already lost them.
And am I to, gather that any and all rentals go into general funds?
I thought they went to Parks and Rec.
That's what we were discussing last time.
Yeah, we need to put an account for that.
Yeah, is there an account for recreation?
There is a record. Yeah.
It should go to the
Technically,
rec
it should
account.
go to that.
Is that on here?
Yeah. It's on the last page under the treasurer's report, balance sheet, recreation fund, bank statement of balances.
What does the, $150 and $125 cover? Cleaning of the hall after they're done, right? That would be part of it, yes. Or maintaining the building, maintaining the hall? And all of the above. So when it needs to be painted again or the floor needs to be done, rec would pay for that to happen, not the general fund?
Well, the painting of this hall right here was done at no cost.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
I understand that. What I'm asking is, if the $150, this, $425 goes to rec. Yeah. And y'all use it for Oktoberfest, but then this room needs to be painted, and they're gonna come to the council and say, well, this is your building, you need to pay it. It should be coming from this $150, it should be coming from this money. This money should be for building maintenance.
Absolutely, you can definitely put it towards that.
Right.
Absolutely.
But how do you do that? Like, how do you know that the rec facility, the rec account pays for the maintenance of the building?
We'd have to find.
Well, also, keep in mind, you also have building and grounds.
Yeah, we have building and ground maintenance.
Right. So
That
actually,
includes
maybe a
exterior
portion of that
and
goes to
interior.
rec, and then a portion goes
Yeah,
to
we-
saving for
Maintenance, yeah.
maintenance later down the road or whatever. And I think this is a share, right? The fire-
Yeah, the,
Women's
city's auxiliary.
has that too. Yeah. I'm just throwing that out there, like that money.
Absolutely.
Maybe
Should
it needs to
be.
be maybe it needs to be split, some of it just put away for maintenance later. You know, we were blessed to have Ron do the upgrades
Does it-
for the improvements, but we may not have that in 10 years.
So my understanding is the money in the recreation fund. I'm looking at the treasurer's report. Or not, this is-
Where is it, recreation, like 20,000.
See, and that's the other thing I didn't understand, is when I looked over the treasurer's report, it showed $1.37 for interest
Yeah.
on the money that's in that account. Is that money that was allocated by the budget? Or where, my next question would be, where did that money come from?
Part of it's the, bathroom.
Yes. When Brett donated his mayor.
Okay, so we're down to 15,000,
Right,
okay? So where did the 15 come from?
I don't know.
You know, 5,000 was correct.
Yeah, I don't know where that
There's
was.
a-
That had been sitting there forever.
But no money was ever transferred out of that.
Yeah.
Into the record.
I just wanted to make sure that we weren't setting up an additional fund for $425.
Well, case in point, the rec fund, for example, the cleaning services, they come down here and clean, they clean the bathrooms. The rec fund can actually go and provide the payment for that without having it coming out of the general account.
Well, rec shouldn't be paying for them to clean the dog sweepers and stuff though.
Well, technically that falls under rec.
Oh, I guess it does. Marks. Sorry.
But, no, and you're fine, just like park rentals,
Yeah,
pavilion rentals,
absolutely.
that kind of stuff. I would think that it would be in the best interest for funds to go in there. That way it's one focal point, you're showing payments or receipts going in, and it's reflected on, other than $1.37 on interest into a rec account.
Right.
I believe that kind of set up with the ordinance that sets up the rec committee. To have access to it, but.
I just think if you separate the two, do it. And it makes it easier to allocate, or to be able to account for the money coming in and money spent.
Absolutely.
But.
Okay, so the whole rental type stuff is no longer gonna be in the general fund, it's gonna go to the recreation fund.
Yes.
Is that an administrative thing, Aiden, that we can just do, or do we need a motion?
Yeah, I think that's in consultation with office staff on how you're preparing the treasurer's report.
Clarification.
I think that you can also make the motion similar to how you were trying to do for the general company and then for any funds that have been used in the general allocated to the recreation fund. But I think the first step would be going.
Yeah, and then,
With office staff, getting the information and potentially.
then next month, look for that to be on the agenda, for the funds that, and the expenditure funds. You know, to come to council and that kind of stuff, which isn't a big deal, I mean,
Yeah.
So your core like borough, all rentals and stuff will go.
to the rec account, yes. All right,
Can I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I have one more question on the treasury report. I'm looking under the bills. Dubs, electrical, construction, cleaning, basement room. What's that?
He's doing the recreation room for us.
And that is.
Where's the recreation?
Is it?
It is.
It's right back here, Jen, if you wanna take a look.
You can tour it then.
Oh, it's for you?
Yeah, it's for the rec committee.
Oh, okay. I didn't,
Yeah, it's just so we can put like a safe and everything in there, so, you know.
to be safe.
So we should take that out of the new rec fund.
that technically can come out of the rec committee.
Perfect.
Okay, just wondering.
Hold on to the computer.
I'm so happy. That's all I have, Mr. President, as far as the budget.
Can I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Motion on the floor to accept treasurer's report.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor, sorry, I'm trying to.
Aye.
Yeah, I have it. I gotta find something here. Okay, got it. Okay, presentation of bills, council has that, along with the treasurer's report. Motion to pay the bills minus check number 1683, payment to, Patricia Crowe for the tree removal. That is down Riverside. Some insight on that one. 1995 ordinance shows, it's 857 feet, from the start of the, black walnut tree in on Riverside Drive. There was a tree down on the cul-de-sac down at the end of the road. 857 feet puts it, what, about, 30 feet, 40 feet short? 30 to 40 feet short of the turnaround point for both the plow and the sanitation trucks. That being said, the turnaround point is also assessed on her property. So with that being said, the termination point for Riverside Drive in the borough, per the ordinance, is 857 feet. Homeowner Patricia Crow presented a bill for $888 for tree removal, which at that point, the borough was not notified that she was having the tree removed, did not provide ample time for tree removal. That is being removed from the bills, and the homeowner will be contacted that she is responsible for that bill. If anybody wants to look at the ordinance, we'd be more than glad to show you.
Does that mean that she can block off that?
She can gate it.
Yeah.
But now, any of the homeowners down along Riverside, with the understanding, they're gonna have to bring their trash out, because the trash truck will not be able to go down that road.
So can I ask a question? If, let's say she didn't have it removed, let's say she came to the office and chatted with Joyce or the council, whoever represented, and would the council or would the town or the borough have worked with her in having somebody remove the tree or splitting the logs?
Absolutely.
100%.
So before we go and just say no to her 880, is it possible that we can talk to her and say, hey, we'll split it with you and do 440?
I can take it a step further. The bill that was presented wasn't even presented by her, but by the next door neighbor, along with the check written by her. So it wasn't even presented by her. And again, the property is assessed to her, not the borough. And the ordinance clearly states at 857.
I understand it's not our responsibility, and I know
Correct.
we chatted about it last week.
Yeah, and I was willing, and I think others on council were willing to actually go down and remove the tree at no cost, let alone, even if we had to bring somebody in at a lesser cost than $888.
A lot, I had my trees trimmed.
But at this point in time, I think it would be in the best interest to let her know, unfortunately, borough will not pay for that.
Just a concern I have, what about the snowplow?
Snowplow, he can plow down with a pickup truck, he's gonna have to back up. It is unfortunate, and I welcome any of the residents to come and discuss that.
Do we think that she'll do that? Do we think she'll be involved?
That is entirely up to her, I steer out of that.
I was just
Whether or
wondering,
not
because
she
it's come
wants
up,
to do that.
it's being mentioned, so I'm wondering if it's thrown out.
She also has homeowners that would cover that also. The tree was on her property.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely, that's true.
So the most important thing is no opportunity was given to the borough to remove said tree. And I mean, even if it was 2 to 3 days. I mean, you know, and now looking at the ordinance, and I'm thinking to myself, as I'm looking at the pictures, that was 1995. Plain as day.
It happened and we had the snowfall, so that kind of slowed things down a couple of days because of this dealing with the snow.
So, but with that being said, looking to remove check 1683 from the bills to be paid to Patricia Crow, reimbursement of $880.
I make that motion with the exception of check number 1683 to pay the bills.
Second.
I'm not done yet.
Oh.
Second check, sorry. Well, yeah, I'm
Sorry.
getting to the other one.
Sorry.
Check number 1678, that was to Dub's Electrical Construction, be removed and paid out of the recreation fund.
Oh.
So there are 2 checks, 1683 and check 1678, on the floor for removal from the bills presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Wait, but there's not enough money in the recreation fund.
Oh, yeah, there's $20,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
We
yeah,
all,
I
we
was
all,
looking at the interest.
we all saw the dash line and thought there was no money there.
Yeah.
Okay, motion on the floor, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those against, okay. Motion carries. Motion to pay the bills carries. Citizens' remarks, non-agenda items. Anyone that would like to report?
Who made the motion? Who seconded?
I made the motion.
Will did, I second it.
And also all 220 South Wood Street. At the January 20th council meeting, a letter from a resident was made available on the back table for attendees. During the meeting, I only got a portion of the letter, so after the meeting, I asked for the missing piece. Do I have them read the letter? I'm concerned that tonight, no one has addressed this resident. And, I'm concerned and afforded any consideration. And in the past, other resident letters have been shared and discussed during council meetings, including the opportunity for public acknowledgement. It's not my role to address the contents of the letter or to raise a specific topic. However, the letter did raise two concerns that I feel warrant attention and I think should be addressed. First, the resident indicated a fear of retaliation for voicing their concerns. Now, last meeting, there was a couple things that were said that I'm very thankful for. There's a change, we're making it very public, and we're moving forward. Thank you. I do that. However, you have a resident that says that no resident should ever feel afraid, judged, or intimidated for asking questions or seeking clarity about matters occurring within their own community. While I appreciate the council's adoption of Resolution 2026-2, which clarified that the business will only be conducted in this meeting room, it appears that maybe some additional steps could be taken to help the residents feel safe, respected, and encouraged to speak openly. I'm going to respectfully ask the council to review the issues that were raised in that letter. You all did get a copy of that, right? It wasn't just me, they were back there. Okay. Sorry, I had to ask that. Raised in the letter, continue working towards fostering an environment where residents can feel heard, protected from bullying or intimidation. Second, the letter raised concerns regarding the handling of complaints. The council does not have discretion to selectively enforce or disregard violations. Many council members have served for several years, to my knowledge, I don't know any longer, and it has been observed that some individuals appear to receive leniency while others are subjected to heightened scrutiny, both by the public and within open meetings. Each council member is expected to serve as a model for the community and to demonstrate the standards that they wish to see reflected throughout the town. Consistent, fair, and transparent enforcement is critical to maintaining the public trust. This goes back to fostering a safe place for our residents. So I hope that the council will be actively pursuing anything referenced in the letter. Given that the resident indicated they regularly watch meeting recordings, it may be appropriate to provide a follow-up or an update at a future meeting to demonstrate the accountability and the transparency. Thank you.
Has there been any follow-up to staff or council since in relation to that letter? Is anyone aware?
Not through me, not from me.
May I just make a comment about the letter? Is that we are not in the business of retribution. I don't think there's any person up here that would retaliate against a constituent for speaking their mind. As a matter of fact, it would be nice if people would be a little more willing to speak up, even if it may ruffle some other people's feathers. Because sometimes just being honest with each other is what we need to do. We might not always agree with each other, and that's okay if we don't agree with each other, but honesty, we have to be honest with each other in order to conduct, not just here in Borough Council, but just from neighbor to neighbor. And sometimes it's just a matter of going and talking with your neighbors. Okay, so we might have different opinions on things, we might belong to different political parties, support different causes, but it's good, the exchange of ideas, even if there's disagreement, it's important too. So whoever this person is that wrote the letter, we're not here for retaliation, we would like to have a conversation with you.
I'll piggyback off of that, like,
Please do.
you know, it's the hard conversations that need to be had, and, you know, I think we should talk about that letter. You know, if anybody has anything to say, I'd encourage that.
Why don't we discuss the letter at the next meeting, put it on the agenda?
Sure.
And we go through it line by line. Let's do that.
What's upsetting is that it was made out by an anonymous person. You know, that they were really fearing retaliation, like you said.
But I don't think it was retaliation here, I think it's in the public eye, I think it's.
Right.
Well, a lot of
Either
people,
way, that's
yeah,
upsetting.
and with today's society, the way social media puts everything, and the way people respond, I can honestly, emphatically, and I've already shared this with a fellow council member, I have never posted in the 4 years as mayor nor will I as council member, anything negative, anything, and react to anybody's comment. Why? It's childish, doesn't get you anywhere, doesn't make you look good in the public's eye, and it's very unprofessional. So with that being said, as I sit here in front of the residents that are here, I will never, ever, I will always be transparent. I will always look at every individual I speak to in their eyes and let them know that's where I stand. I have not, nor the time, nor the patience for any of the childish stuff that may go on, or does go on, if it does. I don't have the time. If I wanted to do that, I'd deal with my kids. But with that being said, any other comments from the public?
Yes. You personally attacked me for using my backhoe. Up at,
On borough property?
yes.
Okay.
You haven't said anything to anybody else about dumping stuff there.
Well, first off, who else dumps there that isn't authorized by the borough?
I don't know.
Well then, okay.
Well, then why, I wasn't dumping there, I was.
I didn't state that you were dumping, you were utilizing your own personal tractor on borough property.
And?
Is it insured through the borough?
No.
Okay.
Is
Then we'll leave it at
this
that.
tractor insured through the borough?
I'm addressing your concern.
Well, I'm addressing him,
Well, then you take that up with Mr. Peter.
Mr. Peter Carter. He uses his tractor on the borough streets.
I do not own a tractor.
Yes, you do. I got a picture of it. You want to see it?
I was using that was a rental. And the only time that I took that rental, other than when it was delivered, is I had to get back into the back area where my garage was, because I had to take those walls down.
Yes. And you came out in front on the South York Street with it.
To park it.
I don't
When they came to pick it up.
Is this also in coordination with the use of your tractor driving down North York Street after the stone?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I use that to
Okay.
push clear people out. I've done it for years.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just saying, that is borough property now.
Okay.
Okay, you're not an employee. You
I
weren't
didn't
at
say
the
I
time.
was.
Sorry. If you were to get injured, who would pay for it?
It's just 5 feet around.
That's not my
I
point.
think we can go back to what was being said earlier, then that needs to apply to everybody.
Well, and I understand that, but this was also said last year when it was addressed.
I understand, I'm just saying.
Okay, and
Because
secondly,
that's-
I'm transparent, address the concern that was brought to me as mayor.
Well, then I want to know why the other people can. And all you have to do is sit up there and watch it.
I understand that, but you know how that works.
No.
You don't know how that works if a complaint comes through the mayor. The
So
mayor
what
is
I
not
have
a
to do
privy
is
to
tell
go
the
and
mayor.
provide the information of who provided it to me. So unfortunately, I'm sorry.
So you're saying that I can't use my skid steer with snowplow on it to
That's-
go out and help keep the snow?
That's what he
That's-
said.
That's different. Are you on a state road? He was on a state road, but on borough property.
Borough, I was up there pushing.
So then I would say no with that.
I was up
Everybody
there
has their
pushing
own
snow.
risk.
And let me ask you this, who has the contract? And you do it at your own risk if that's the case, but in this case, he was on borough
I
property.
thought I was saving the borough money.
Yeah, but last meeting, Sam said that by the ordinance, what was happening was allowed to happen on the
Yes.
borough property.
I understand that.
But that's not what Doug is saying. Doug is saying we can't do it on borough property
Well,
because people will get hurt and then
Borough
blame
property,
insurance.
what is borough property? North York Street, South York Street, and the square is state road.
Right, but this, I think what Sam was talking about was on sidewalks.
Yeah, sidewalks, borough roads, alleyways, that's all allowed as long as you're affiliated with the borough. And that's including, employee, that's council member.
Correct.
That could be, I mean, there's a lot of gray area in that work.
You're saying you're allowed or you're not allowed?
You are.
So, being out with my four-wheeler.
You are allowed to do it because you are affiliated with the borough. Now, Corey's
So
affiliated
if he
with
gets
the borough
hurt,
too,
if he gets hurt, we're not responsible. If Ron gets hurt, or if Will gets hurt pushing the borough stuff,
That
we're
was the
not,
concern.
I'm sorry?
That was the concern.
So we're not responsible for that. The bureau is not responsible,
That-
but they're taking it at their own risk.
If that's the way it goes, then that's the way it goes.
My,
I'm just asking.
my ATV with my plow, I can show all my paperwork, mine is tag registered and I have
But
insurance.
that's not what Corey's saying. Corey is saying that he's being told he can't help the residents like you've been doing and Will's been doing, he can't do it. He's being told he
No,
can't.
here's what I said, and I'm backing this up. He was using his own tractor and front end loader to move material on Goldsboro property that was dumped.
Not snow.
That was a concern that was brought to my attention by a resident. I addressed it with
So he
Mr.
wasn't doing snow removal?
No.
I addressed this
Brush,
specific
moving out the
occurrence
brush
that
that
comes
we
into
all- that
question.
we all dumped there.
Well, that was a concern that was brought to me by a resident. It was addressed with Mr. Enzer. And how he took it upon that is entirely up to him. There was no enforcement. Did you receive a fine?
No.
Okay.
No, it was just, I mean,
It was
it's
put out.
something that seemed vengeful to me because.
Well, I'm
I've done
sorry
it
you
for
feel that
30
way.
years.
I'm sorry you feel that way. But again, understand, as a mayor at that time, all concerns had to be addressed. And I addressed it appropriately.
And then my other concern is like on the sidewalks were never cleared off in front of,
Well, let's revisit that one and the snow removal. Has anyone taken a look at the snow removal agreement? I can show you.
Contract.
Show me.
We have no contract. Do you know what it is? It's a letter from Mr. Reeser with a list of prices for how much it would cost for each piece of equipment.
that's what it's always been.
Well, guess what? It's not anymore. Because now you wonder why there's snow on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
And there was a snow emergency put out. Was the snow emergency when it was put out stating that all residents must remove their vehicles from the road? No, they were asked to remove their vehicles from the road. Then you had people that were complaining. Let's look at West Broadway. How much snow was piled up there because the individuals did not move their cars from West Broadway going out of town, down to the post office, or down to the borough building here, which was empty, by the way. There were 5 parking spots down here empty. So now you got snow that is impinging out on West Broadway and couldn't be removed because they didn't move their cars, as asked, not told. Anything else? Okay,
Are we still on council person on this, or is that just?
still public comment.
Two quick things. Dave Bauer, 200 North York Street. That's not state road, it's a dead end.
Which
So
one?
I'm 200 North, Old Church. So I'm in the street with my snow blower, making it wider because they didn't do a real good job. Secondly, that's borough property. So there again, I'm confused. I'm not supposed to do that, or am I?
You're more than welcome to do that.
Okay.
And that's, I expressed that just now with Mr. Enzer, that the responsibility falls on the owner.
Okay, good. Second thing is the texting with the electric, I thought it's a great idea. Thought that should also be tied into the EMA. Something's going on.
That's
The borough we should know about. That's a wholly great, that's a really good idea.
There is
So
an
we
app
all-
available. I talked to Doug briefly about it. I've got to get afraid, it's called Savvy Citizen. Newbury Township actually uses it. They can
Yeah.
send out any, not just for emergencies. Sam can send out stuff, Easter egg hunt, Lee Fiscal Park, this day. It can be used for anything.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the price of it will be to get it set up, but there is an app available.
Yeah.
We can have a response for you in March. if
Love
that's
that.
okay.
It's a great idea. I mean, so thank you.
Yes, sir.
Back to this snow removal thing again, all this. So the ordinance says the definition of ATV excludes golf carts, construction machines, utility vehicles used for business operations, agriculture, yard work, landscaping, snow removal, or otherwise being used in a reasonable maintenance of a person's private property or motorized vehicle being used for law enforcement, fire, emergency, military, or other authorized governmental purposes. So, like I said, I mean, if it's maintenance for the borough property that Corey's using it for, there's a lot of gray area in that word.
And I understand.
You know, so,
Just understand when it was brought up at the request of the resident, that's all.
right, now, I completely understand that. It's just,
Yeah, that's just something that we have to do. If somebody complains about anybody, as mayor, we gotta follow up, you know?
You have to address it.
Yeah, and that's what I did with the mayor's report. If you saw it, I went to each and every one of those people and just asked, hey, what's going on here and how can I help to fix it? And I think, did you guys do that back in the day? Yeah.
Any other citizens' remarks? All right, moving on to councilperson's comments. Sam, anything? Here?
I just want to say again that I appreciate, the police department because I've noticed that just their presence on the block where I live across from the pizza shop, that it seems like the speeding is going down.
Joyce, do you have anything? Ron?
I have kind of a draft for like a snow contract, and I'd like to get the item, for some ideas, put some kind of contract together for going forward.
And this will be for the 2027. Yeah, 2027 for, snow removal contract. That goes into specifics because I received a phone call too from the borough manager asking about the sidewalks down the square. Sidewalks in front of the borough. We actually had to have snow removed from the borough building. And one of the building's emergency exits were actually blocked. So we want to get into the specifics of what's required and do it appropriately. Getting a price list for the use of the equipment is not a contract. I don't care.
If I remember correctly, that was because no one gave us nobody did the bid, and that was what we got, was just a list, and that's what we had to accept, because there was nobody put in a bid.
Well, and here's the other thing too. If you put a contract together now
And give it.
and give it out as part of the bidding process,
That's what we do for.
and you could use it for years to
Yeah,
come.
yeah, that's what we.
Nothing's gonna change. I mean, you know, you may have to make some minor modifications here
Yeah,
and
on
there.
One-Way Street, you can't plow up the wrong way.
You're fine. And I can tell you now that the snow emergency, that did not come lightly with the anticipation of the amount of snow.
Well, I was appreciative that it got done, like, I'm glad
and
that,
it's
I went
not
to my
one-
neighbors and asked them to.
It's not one that is usually issued. We, as the council, would like to issue, but if it has to, we wanna do it.
And there again, with the texting, if you didn't look at Facebook, you didn't even know there was one.
Yeah.
So some people that didn't move their cars,
Yeah.
maybe they're not on Facebook, so how would they know?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
see.
mean,
Yeah.
there's weak things in how you connect the dots, I don't know.
But we'll get there, and it just takes time, so, anything?
Yes, the fishing tournament. So that was brought up on those like clickbait clown pages, that it was canceled. But, right, it's not. So I just wanted everybody to know that unfortunately it was posted like right before the Super Bowl. So I spent half the Super Bowl texting fishing game and the VFW guys.
Yeah, I actually, no,
They posted that it was canceled.
So I'll set the record straight, I'll set the record straight. The VFW is participating, they are going to actually get, the state to do a drop of fish one time, I think it was prior, obviously due to the cost. I got a phone call today from the VFW president wanting to know if the fire department was wanting to participate. I stated to him that I would have to get back in contact with him after I spoke to the executive board.
How much does a
Well, he was.
fish drop cost?
Not cheap.
And not cheap.
Thousands?
Yeah.
Really? Well, I guess that's a lot of fish.
But as of right now, I can share with you that the VFW does plan on moving forward with hosting a fish derby down there on that property, with the understanding, there'll be guidelines set, by the current property owner. Absolutely, please.
Yeah, so thank you for the time. I'm Chris Fallon, and my wife and I own the Pines, what we call the Pines property. So I saw the post right before the Super Bowl too, and I I was thinking a little bit more about post than I was a Super Bowl, not that I had any stake in either team.
Frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Anyway, so when I saw it, over the last year since the club had decided not to hold the event themselves there, I've been back and forth with Chris Knob over the course of the year. As a matter of fact, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I called him and I said, hey, I haven't heard from anybody, and so when I saw the post, I thought, just wanted to, and I didn't know who it came from. It didn't really matter where it came from, but I knew a lot of people would probably see it. And I knew from when we closed on the property, I'd just like to share, if I can indulge you for a minute. So I just kind of want to go through backwards. Mark Roberts, the attorney. So he was the seller's attorney. We were sitting at closing, and Mark and I are about the same age. And he told me when he was a kid that he was involved in the fishing derby and he fished the fishing derby. And so I knew it was a long time thing for Goldsboro. It's a great event. I was there both days. My wife and I supported it both days, and got to meet a lot of great people during the program. We are very much interested in supporting the kids of the area, the kids of Goldsboro. I'd rather see them over there fishing than going like this with their electronic device, and so wanted to clarify that in a response to what was kind of probably a little while, but if I didn't, from that standpoint, the club demonstrated that they do it very professionally. My wife and I really appreciated that, and we're more than open to working with any organization that wants to do it professionally. Again, my biggest concern, I'm in the commercial insurance business, so I know about risk and I know about claims and all that kind of stuff. I've done it all my life. My biggest concern was actually, somebody getting hurt on the highway, which isn't necessarily my immediate problem, but, the flow of traffic and all that. But, all that to say, my wife Bill and I are very much in support of it. We're waiting for somebody from the VFW to get in touch with us. Chris Knob sent me a text last night, and also, evidently he wasn't watching the Super Bowl either. And basically, just indicated that the program was going to be on, and that he was going to have a meeting soon that we would be able to, kind of talk together about how to do it well and have a good program again this coming year. So.
As far as you're concerned about the street, that's why we have fire police officers up there.
Right.
Okay, we watch for that. We just don't stand there. Sure. We watch. If we think a child's gonna dart across the road, we're stopping traffic. So, yeah, that's,
Well, I appreciate that,
that's what we do. Jim needs the fire police guy and I'm lieutenant, and that's what we were trained and watched to do.
I have a background.
We've learned through our experience. You can tell when a kid's you can just tell, wait, this kid just out of, I don't know what you call it.
Yell at my kids.
Oh, yeah.
Forgive my ignorance, but does the borough or does the fire department do anything, any kind of insurance for that? No. It's
You
where
should
it's
start
like-
doing special events permit for that.
But that was through North Fishing Game, wasn't it?
I'm only asking.
It was,
Sure.
yeah, that was through North Fishing Game.
I didn't know if
Now
the
it'll be
borough
through
itself.
No, that'll be through VFW.
Okay.
We'll have to get, insurance policy back.
Yeah, special events.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Talking with Chris, just letting everybody know, just in case you know the owner of that, what I call it, clickbait clown page. He was upset. He was really upset that they would say something like that when they put in their time, effort, money to help. And, they just made a post, just kind of, talking crap. And it It was upsetting.
What
So,
page was it?
it's either corruption watch or breaking news, one of the two. But, you know, if anybody knows the owner of those pages, just let them know it's not worth the 20 likes to burn a bridge, you know, with fishing game.
Greg,
It was not
Greg from the VFW actually contacted me today, and we're talking, so I sure would like it back. But, fire police totally at disposal of the VFW, I did offer that up, and I believe the ladies auxiliaries will participate too.
There's plenty of businesses that reach out.
Probably do the cleanup again like we did the previous years, come and cut stuff out of the way.
Yeah, and just, you know, one of, actually, even Chris, last year, you know, my only concern with, you know, the property that was safe from our standpoint was there's a pretty fair cliff. Like
Yeah.
right below the
Oh,
bridge.
yeah, we
So
got,
actually,
He said about putting a fence or something, didn't he? Or-
he talked about, you know, even making a post and so forth, but actually my wife and I, we actually have gotten a price already on having it done, so, again, you know, that's something that we're looking to probably try and get done before all that occurs, so.
When does
You know, that's really nice of you.
Fourth.
It is.
Huh?
April 4th.
April 4th.
Yeah, early, if the snow is.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. Not with you. With that fishing game, they said that they were chased away essentially because of the amount of adults, like, I guess, fishing there. Adults aren't allowed to
They
fish.
said that they were stealing or catching.
Yeah, the problem with that is they would stock the, stream, and then there were adults down there fishing prior to the actual derby. And they were chasing the adults out because of that.
Yeah,
Great.
several times I stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all
And
go
tell
that
them
way
that-
into town, so we all stop and say, hey, you know.
You can't fish here.
If you
I can
did-
call the police department right now and fish.
But a lot
And you
of
can pay a
them-
fine or you can leave.
You got people there at nighttime, like, we catch them down at the pizza shop under the bridge at nighttime. You know, because they put fish in there. I mean, it's almost impossible to stop unless somebody comes out.
It's just that one spot, you know.
Yeah.
That I think just where we're talking about, you know, I'm not gonna chase somebody away by a river.
Well,
Okay, all right, sorry.
Yeah, previously when we had significant snow events, we had loaded up and taken the snow out of the square. Are we to the point that we're not gonna do that anymore, or that's gonna be incorporated?
That's gonna be incorporated.
That's what we incorporated into the contract.
Anything over a certain amount of inches will be removed.
And the
That's
other,
a mess.
yeah, oh yeah, and we have to be cautious of where we're placing the snow, whether it be down
Visual Park,
Fishel Park,
Dog Road.
We get away with fishing.
I can take it down to the ball field.
well, see, and that's the other thing too, because the other reason why the stove was removed from out front of the borough building and placed down on the square is for the years past, that's where it was placed. Even with the fire department gave, not me, but the president of the fire department gave permission for the placement of the snow up in the square. It's snow, it's gonna melt.
I just wanted to see, because it's a problem when we get too much snow in the
Yeah.
square, and probably
Yeah.
for 2 or 3 blocks in either direction, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think we had to call Crumley in because the person, the snow research, their backhoe was broke down, they didn't have a backhoe. And so we had to call in to haul
See, and that gets into a stickier situation, because who are you paying? You paying Crumley, you paying Reeser to pay a crime.
it. Yeah.
Reese's is supposed to have a backhoe and run from the railroad.
Right, well, their backhoe isn't off, it's not running.
But see, there again, if the problem is,
And it's all.
in the future, go ahead.
But he had Reeser had the use of Sean's backup.
Was that research person inside Sean's backhoe? Or was that Sean's
Yes.
person? Oh, it was?
And then Sean was driving the dump truck.
Okay.
So, I mean, they work together.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I just-
because, you know, that's snow got piled up over here.
Right.
Because of.
Of the residents.
What they were there.
Yeah.
So,
Put the snow there.
you know, we had to have it removed, but they work together and.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, and if we're gonna have these snow emergencies, which I don't think we're having any previously, we need to make sure that the areas that we're telling them that they're gonna park, we're gonna clean up.
Correct. The identified points were, the 2 points of the borough building down along, on the side of the borough, out back of the borough. Anybody could have parked down at the post office, if I'm correct.
Well, that might be, is it,
The pizza
really,
shop.
there's no room in the post
Oh, that's
office.
right, no, I disregard that, the pizza shop across from the pizza shop.
Yeah, they're parked down there, I cleaned that up.
Yeah, that was the other point. But yeah, that can be specified for future.
That's all right.
Well,
Nothing.
One note, there's a lower part of my yard along Mansburg Alley, if you need, overflow place to dump snow, you can always do that, just knock on my door, and I'll show whoever the driver is where to dump snow, if it's a lot, we go to my property if need be.
okay. All right. The only other thing that I have is, we received a letter from Michael J. Smith, and I'm gonna read that, for all to hear. Dear members of Goldsboro Borough Council, please accept this letter as my formal resignation from my position as council, member for the Borough of Goldsboro, effective 2/9/2026. It has been an honor to serve the residents of Goldsboro and to work alongside my fellow council members in support of the borough and its continued growth. I am grateful for the opportunity to have contributed to the community and appreciate the cooperation and dedication shown by council, staff, and residents during my time in office. I wish the Borough of Goldsboro and the Borough Council continued success in the future. Respectfully, Michael J. Smith, Council Member, Goldsboro Borough Council. At this time, I entertain any motion to accept the resignation of Michael J. Smith as Council Member and to effectively.
So we'll amend the agenda to allow for you to accept it.
Okay, make the motion to amend the agenda to accept Michael Smith's letter of resignation.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to accept said letter from Michael Smith on his resignation.
Motion.
Second? All those in favor?
And then just to provide an overview, as we're familiar, timings applicable to these vacancies that you have to be cognizant of. You'll now have 30 days to fill that vacancy, so I don't know if you want to say everybody who's interested.
Anyone that would be interested, please share a letter of interest, highlights of what your involvement might be with both the public and what your interests are in participating on council. They can be sent to my email address and basically to all of council. You okay with that?
Well,
Can we-
doesn't it go to the resident that's on the vacancy board? Isn't that who it should be going to? Because that's who it went to before, they had to go to Mike.
It had to go to him because Borough Council did not timely act within 30 days. So Borough Council acts within 30 days, they can make it. And then it would go to the vacancy board, and if they fail to timely act, then it would go to the court too.
Then the resident on that board.
Yep. So, another thing that I would specify here, I believe, Mike was just elected to a 4-year term.
Yes.
But, the appointment would actually only be effectively for 2 years because it will run until the next municipal election.
Elections. And then to fill that, and at that point, it would be filled for 4 years.
No, it would be filled for the remainder of
The remainder of the 2-year term.
So it's essentially seeking people who are interested to serve on Borough Council for the next 2 years.
Is that something that we could put a post about that on the website?
Yeah.
That's important.
Any interest, actually send any interest or letters of interest to fill the vacancy, my email address, which is out on the website for Goldsboro Borough. That being said, I can share it with all of council that it will be absolutely disseminated to all as soon as it is looked over and sent. That's the transparency there.
What, you said 30 days?
Yes,
So when is March's meeting, the ninth, so y'all would have to make
The
a
4th.
decision?
Yes, so for practical purposes, the decision will be made at the March meeting, otherwise it will move to the vacancy board.
We have to call an executive session.
That's what I was thinking, should we don't have a special meeting or whatever, one of the ones that's not publicized or whatever, but
to talk about that before?
So there's always the ability to call a special meeting that requires 24 hours of notice in advance, but, it's going to be on the agenda for the next meeting to talk about it, and then vote on it. So if there is a need in advance, certainly they have the ability to do so.
If we have to. But more importantly, it's that point for all of council to review any letters of interest. Provide the opportunity at the next meeting for any individuals that has submitted a letter of interest to speak to council as well, and then address and decide.
Good. Now, is there anybody not allowed to be appointed?
There are incompatible offices for council members. It really depends on who you hear back from. Ultimately, the qualifications for borough council are just a resident of the borough.
So, or at least a year.
Yeah.
For at least a year.
Yeah, we don't care.
All right. I think we're down to, motion to adjourn meeting.
I make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.